everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Real Estate Gal. This is Janice Jimenez. For the fifth season, we have prepared something special for you. We will be talking about Feng Shui. I know a lot of you are confused, concerned, or simply just curious about it. So I bring over a guest from the UK. He has been doing consulting for Feng Shui for 5 years now, but he is also an engineer. So I chose him because he's a man of science, and so am I. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from DB. DB, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Janice. Thanks for the short introduction. Hello, friends. I'm Dibi, and I'm an engineer by profession, and I live in the United Kingdom. So due to my professional reason, I migrated from India and I settled in the United Kingdom. I'm associated with Feng Shui for the last 5 years. And as because I'm coming from the science background and as I'm kind of an engineer, so I always try to understand how can we explain the classical feng shui from the perspective of science. And that particular question always kind of triggered me. And I started my research in feng shui 5 to 6 years back. And I always tried to get an understanding how can we explain the underlying principles of feng shui, so which is also known as the Chinese metaphysics. And that's where I started my research. And then I really understood the basic principles of macrocosm and microcosm.
How interesting, DB. Can you elaborate a little bit more about macrocosm and microcosm?
As I was talking about macrocosm and microcosm, so let me just give a quick, simple explanation what this is. If you see that the patterns are actually prevalent in the universe and in our life. So if you see the solar system, the planets are rotating around the sun being the center. And if you see in our atom, all the electrons are rotating around the nucleus. So there is the same pattern in the nucleus, in the atom, and in the universe. So the basic principle of feng shui is that if we introduce some change in our surrounding environment, then we can introduce or impact some change in our life. And if we do this change in a positive manner, then we can influence positivity in our life.
So once you found out that what you researched on was helping your friends and family, you decided that you wanted to share your knowledge to the rest of the world. How did you accomplish this?
Sometime back, I created my YouTube channel, Infinite Mind Feng Shui, and I just had an understanding of sharing free of charge all the knowledge what I have gathered. Because I see that many people are looking into the website and they get confused. And what I wanted that give them a certain direction where to look into and don't get confused. I also have my consultation due to the COVID situation. I started virtual consultation as well. So I do physical consultation, virtual consultation, and I try to apply the classical feng shui.
So there you have it, my dear viewers. You have DB's information. Look him up and ask him your own feng shui questions. DB, going back to the show, let's take a deep dive into the meaning and the history and the evolution of feng shui.
Okay, so before I start that, so one of the myth what we have that China is the source of feng shui. Well, that is true, but even the feng shui existed prior to that. So it actually dates back to the Sumerian civilization 7 to 8,000 years ago. And following some climatic disorder, the people from that Sumerian civilization, they started migrating. They are trying to go to different parts of the world. And there are 5 wandering tribes. They started their journey and they landed into China. And those wandering tribes, they had the actual ancient knowledge of feng shui. And that's where they started a civilization in China and they applied the feng shui to kind of get the prosperity and abundance in their civilization. And that's where is the starting journey for the feng shui.
Now you really piqued my interest and my curiosity, DB. You mentioned about the wandering tribes. I'd like to know more about them.
So as I was talking about those 5 wandering tribes, so there are 3 wandering tribes. They are very much predominant in this particular journey. So the first one being the Fuxi tribe. So they are the animal tamers. and they knew how to actually get the animals, all the knowledge of animal husbandry, and they knew how to do the plowing. So all these techniques, right? So they were the very popular wandering tribe in the history of feng shui. Then we have another wandering tribe, the Shen Nong. So they were the holy farmers. They knew how to use herbal medicine. And they are the forefathers of the traditional Chinese medicine, which is the TCM, commonly known. And then the third wandering tribe was the Sui Rain, and they were the fire starters, fire beginners. They knew how to use fire, and they used metallurgy. They used they used fire for cooking. So these ancient knowledge actually contributed to feng shui. So that was the first journey.
I have to say, Feng Shui is such an interesting topic. The more you tell us, the more I want to know more. So if you're like me, please do tune in next week because we are out of time for our part 2 of this conversation. But don't worry, this is not only a 2-part series, it's going to be a whole season series of Feng Shui for the home. So if you have any questions, if you want to ask DB some questions regarding your home, please do give us a call at 1-833-33-REGAL or email us at info@regal.realestate, and we could probably enter your question and answer them over the air here in our show. This is where we conclude our episode for this afternoon. See you again next week. This is Janice Jimenez, your real estate gal.